Hey guys, welcome back. So first I'm going to prime my eyes using the NYX eyeshadow base in white. And I'm using white because I feel like the colors that I use later on will show up a lot more vibrant, and that's exactly what I want. First I started off using a brush to blend it out, and then I moved down to use my finger instead. After you've applied the base, you're going to want to set that all in place. So I'm just going in with a translucent powder. You can also use a white eyeshadow, whichever one you have on hand will be perfectly fine. For my first shadow, I'll be using the Maybelline Single Shadow in Teal the Deal. I was a little skeptical when I first tried this out because I was scared that it was going to look a little patchy. Most teal colors that I've used in the past do, but this one blew me away. No pun intended. But it was gorgeous. It blended out like a dream, and I didn't have to use too much product either, which was great. And these I think were like $4, so you could not beat that. Now I'm just using a smaller brush just to blend out the edges and make it a little bit more precise. Using the same brush, I am now using Colourpop's 143, and I'm placing this only on the outer portion of the crease. Make sure everything is nice and even. And I was trying out a new product from Kat Von D. I've used this concealer on my face before in a different shade, but I really wanted to see if it would work for cutting the crease. Again, I decided not to use a skin tone color because I wanted the shades to appear more vibrant and true to tone, so I thought that white would be perfect. And I'm using the Sephora Collection Precision Concealer Brush to cut the crease. I have to say, I was having a little bit of a hard time doing this part, but in the end I think it came out okay. This eye was a little better, and I think this is the part where I kind of like figured it out, but it took me some time. So if you're having a hard time doing it, it's okay. Practice makes perfect, and it's makeup, so you can just fix it later on. Using a much smaller blending brush, go back with 143 and use that in the crease just to define it more, also bringing it into the inner corner. Don't worry if this gets a little messy because we're just going to blend it out and clean it all in the end. Make sure to blend out any harsh lines as well. For the lid, I'm using Purple Daze, also from Maybelline, which is a nice light lavender shade. And it wasn't super pigmented, but it was okay. Like, I made do with it, and I just decided to blend the crease a little bit more with 143. Now, I know the camera was not doing it any justice because this color did have light, almost like blue reflectives in it. So to make it stand out just a little bit more, I used some setting spray on the brush just to intensify it and make it more pigmented. Moving on, I'm applying my winged eyeliner as I usually do because I love me some wings. And I'm just going to speed through this a little bit because I find that it can get a little repetitive. If you want a more in-depth tutorial on how I do my wings, just let me know and then I'll definitely film that for you guys. But in the meantime, just watch me do my wings. I'm also using the Balm Cosmetics Schwing liner, which is relatively new to me, and it's okay. I just wish it was a little bit more waterproof. And since I do have some wing eyeliner, now I'm just going to blend out the crease even more. Once that is all blended, I'm going to use the Stila Magnificent Metal Glitter in the shade Siren. And I'm placing that right between the crease and where I placed the winged eyeliner. And this has some nice baby blue reflex, which I think completed the look so beautifully. Once I had all my colors in place, I wanted to make more of a contrast between the shades, and I used a white eyeliner to try to like cut the crease even more. And this was much harder than it looked. Like, I think it looks a little easy here, but the eyeliner was not cooperating whatsoever. It was skipping, it wasn't like pigmented enough. So if you're gonna try this look, I would recommend using the NYX liquid white liner instead, because I find that those work a little bit better. I literally tried to use every white liner or white base that I had to try to make it work, but it was just skipping, and in the end it turned into more of a lavender than a white. So I think I'm gonna try to do this look again sometime in the future, and hopefully it comes out a little bit better. Now I'm just coating my lashes with mascara to prep them and deepening up the crease with that teal just to make it stand out again. because it was starting to fade just a tiny bit. And like I said, we're going to use that 143 shade over and over again, and I think this kind of like saved the look a little bit more. And here I am trying to save the white because it was not working. So again, if you try this at home and it's giving you a hard time, don't give up, just keep trying. It's gonna look amazing in the end. I just applied my favorite lashes, which I'll list below. And moving on to the face, I decided to use the Maybelline Master Prime Blur and Illuminate Primer. It's phenomenal, and a little goes a long way. Of course, I had to use the Smashbox primer water because this really helps with making my face makeup not look as cakey as when I don't wear it. And for foundation, I also had to use my favorite foundation of the moment, which is the MAC Waterproof Pro Longwear Foundation. And I'm using a beauty blender to blend it all out, which I know I haven't been using my Sephora collection brush. It's almost unheard of, but this makes it so much quicker because I just have to use the beauty blender and I don't have to use 2 brushes. For some added coverage, I wanted to use the Shape Tape Concealer in the shade Tan, just to add a little bit of extra coverage. After all, if you're going to plan on using this for a festival look, you want your skin to not feel super cakey, because then throughout the day it'll wear off really weirdly and you don't want that. And then of course, to highlight the skin a little bit more, I'm using the Kat Von D Lock-It Crème Concealer, which is such a mouthful, but it's phenomenal. Blends like a dream, and it really does just brighten up the complexion even more. Once the face makeup is all blended, I'm going to go in with some translucent powder just to set everything in place, and I'm using the same one that I used earlier, which is the Kat Von D Translucent Setting Powder. To set the other areas in place, I'm using my favorite foundation powder, which is the Sephora Collection Micro Smooth, and this is great because it does blur out your skin really well. Now for bronzer, I decided to use the Benefit Hoola bronzer because it's more of a neutral bronze instead of it being super warm, which I'm currently in love with, and it also helps to contour the face at the same time. I'm placing that on the cheekbones, forehead, the chin, on the nose, all the usual areas. And for highlighter, I'm trying out the Too Faced Blinded by the Light highlighter, which is more of a natural highlighter for me. It's not like super blinding, which I'm okay with, but I did want a little bit more intensity. For blush, I'm trying out the Sigma Nymphaea blush, which is such a pretty shade. It's a nice, like, true to pink shade, so I highly recommend it. Here I'm using the Laura Geller Diamond Dust highlighter, which is so stunning that the camera did not do it any justice. It has some like pink and purple reflectives in it, so I was in love. And for the inner corners, I'm using the NYX Prismatic shade in Frostbite. I know I haven't used this in any of my videos, but I do really love the Too Faced lip injections, and I highly recommend it for anyone that wants like a plumper lip. So yeah, it's phenomenal. And here I'm just applying the Marc Jacobs eyeliner in Mist Me on the lower lash line. Now this is the fun part. I decided to add some like glitter tears, which I know I've seen a lot on Instagram, and I also wanted to use the other shade that I had purchased from the Magnificent Foils from Stila in the shade Into the Blue. Once I had applied that color on the bottom, I realized that I probably should have used that on the lid and then Siren on the bottom where the tears are. So at this point, I had decided to add Siren right on top just to lighten it up a little bit more and make it brighter, which I thought really worked out well. And because I'm always super extra, I wanted to add more glitter, and I used the crystal glitter from NYX just to intensify it a little bit more. I also couldn't forget to coat the bottom lashes, and I'm using the same mascara that I used on the top lashes as well, which is Such a good one. And to deepen it up a little bit more, I'm using 143 with a smaller pencil brush just to add more definition so it wasn't super light on the bottom. And I'm also using the same pencil brush to deepen up the crease, and I loved how this came out. Really take your time when you're blending it. There's no need to rush because the outcome is awesome. And I'm just touching up any little areas that I felt like needed a little bit more glitter on the bottom. And to give myself like a dramatic brow highlight, I use the same Marc Jacobs eyeliner right underneath the brow. Here I'm using Distortion from Urban Decay just to make it look like little fireworks were coming out. And for the lips, I decided to use Spice Lip Liner from MAC, which glided on so nicely once I had the lip injections on the bottom. Not like real lip injections, by the way, just the Too Faced one. And lipstick, I'm using Back Talk, which is a nice muted blue toned pink, which I think really complemented the look. To make it even glossier, I used this prismatic lip top coat from Maybelline, which was really inexpensive. And to finish off the look, I'm just warming up the skin just a tiny bit because I did want to use Give Me Sun because I'm obsessed with it and I couldn't live without it. And there you go. Here's the final look. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This was definitely something different for me. If you did, just let me know in the comment section below. And yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing day and thank you so much for watching. Bye!